There is someone in your life right now who is quietly controlling you, and you have absolutely no idea it's happening. They don't yell. They don't threaten. They don't need to. Because the most dangerous manipulators never look like villains. They look like the people you trust the most. What you're about to hear will change how you see every relationship in your life. These are 7 dark psychology signs that someone is manipulating you. And most people never catch them until it's too late. If you recognize even one of these signs, subscribe to this channel. Your awareness is your shield. Sign number 1. They make you doubt your own memory. It starts with something small. You clearly remember a conversation. You know what was said. But when you bring it up, they deny it ever happened. I never said that. You're imagining things. That's not what happened at all. This is called gaslighting. And it is one of the most devastating psychological weapons in existence. The manipulator doesn't just lie to you. They make you question your own mind, your own perception of reality. And here's what makes it so terrifying. The more intelligent you are, the more vulnerable you become. Because smart people try to be fair. They think, maybe I did remember it wrong. Maybe I am overreacting. That hesitation, that single moment of self-doubt is exactly what the manipulator needs. Once you start questioning yourself, they own you.
But what comes next is a weapon most people never see coming, and it doesn't require a single word.
Sign number 2, the silent treatment as punishment. Silence is not always peace. Sometimes silence is a weapon. When a manipulator goes quiet, they're not processing their emotions. They're punishing you. They withdraw their attention, their affection, their presence to make you feel desperate, anxious, afraid. And what do most people do when someone they care about goes silent? They chase. They apologize, even when they did nothing wrong. They beg for the conversation to resume. This is a calculated power play. Psychologists call it emotional withholding. The manipulator trains you, like Pavlov's dog, to associate their silence with your failure. Every time they go quiet, you scramble to fix something that was never broken. The cruel truth is this: the silent treatment is not the absence of communication. It is communication. It's saying, I control when we talk. I control when you feel safe, and you will do anything to get my approval back. Before we continue, the sign that's coming next is the one that fooled me the longest.
Now, the next sign is something far more sinister, and it's the one that fools everyone.
If you're watching this and wondering, am I being manipulated? Pay very close attention to sign number 3. Sign number 3, they always play the victim. No matter what they do to you, somehow they're the one who's suffering. You confront them about a lie, and suddenly they're in tears talking about how hard their life has been. You set a boundary, and they accuse you of being cruel and heartless. This is called DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. It's a manipulation technique so powerful that entire courtrooms have been fooled by it. The manipulator flips the script every single time. They make you feel guilty for holding them accountable. And because you're a decent person, because you have empathy, you fall for it. You drop your guard, you comfort them. And the cycle starts all over again. Pay attention to this pattern. If every conflict ends with you apologizing for their behavior, you are being manipulated.
Stay with me, because sign number 4 reveals how they make sure you have nowhere left to run.
4. They isolate you from everyone you trust. This one is slow, deliberate, almost invisible. The manipulator doesn't say stop talking to your friends. That would be too obvious. Instead, they plant seeds of doubt. Psh, your sister doesn't really have your best interest at heart. I noticed your friend was being weird with you. I'm the only one who truly understands you. Slowly, one relationship at a time, they cut you off from your support system. And here's the terrifying part. You think it's your own decision. You think you're choosing to distance yourself from people. But you're not. You're being herded, isolated, made dependent on one person. Because a manipulator knows something fundamental about human psychology. A person with a strong support network is almost impossible to control. But a person who is alone, who has no one else to turn to, is completely vulnerable.
But what comes next is the reason most people never leave. And it works like a drug.
Now,
You'd be surprised how many people share the same experience. And that awareness, that community, is how we break the cycle. Sign number 5. They give you just enough to keep you hooked. This is perhaps the most brilliant and the most evil tactic of them all. The manipulator doesn't withhold everything that would make you leave. Instead, they operate on what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. One day, they're cold, distant, dismissive. The next day, they're the most loving person you've ever met. One moment they tear you down, the next they build you back up with praise and affection. This hot and cold pattern is not a personality flaw. It is a strategy. And it works because of the same brain chemistry that makes gambling addictive. When rewards are unpredictable, your brain releases more dopamine, not less, more. You become addicted to the good moments because they're surrounded by pain. You keep chasing that next hit of warmth, that next moment of connection. And no matter how bad things get, you stay. Because what if tomorrow is one of the good days? This is how trauma bonds are formed. And once they take hold, they are incredibly difficult to break.
And just when you think it can't get worse, they pull out the one weapon you gave them yourself.
They weaponize your secrets. Think about this for a moment. Every vulnerability you've ever shared with them, every fear, every insecurity, every dark thought you trusted them enough to reveal. A healthy person holds those secrets with care. A manipulator stores them as ammunition, and they wait patiently until the moment they need leverage. Then those secrets become weapons aimed directly at your deepest wounds. Maybe that's why your ex left you. No wonder your family doesn't respect you. Remember when you told me about your biggest failure? Maybe you should think about that. This is psychological warfare, and it works because you gave them the map to your vulnerabilities. You trusted them with your pain, and they turned it into a tool of control. If someone consistently uses your vulnerabilities against you during arguments, they don't love you. They are managing you.
The final sign is the most invisible of all, and it's the one that keeps you trapped forever.
Sign number 7. They make you feel like you owe them everything. Every favor has a price tag. Every act of kindness comes with invisible strings attached. The manipulator keeps a mental ledger of everything they've ever done for you, and they bring it up every single time you try to assert yourself. After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me? I sacrifice so much for you, and you can't even do this one thing? This is called covert contract manipulation.
They never told you there were conditions. They never said their help came with expectations. But the moment you step out of line, the debt collector arrives. And here's the psychological trap. Human beings are hardwired for reciprocity. When someone does something for us, we feel an almost biological obligation to return the favor. Manipulators exploit this instinct ruthlessly. They overgive, not out of generosity, but to create leverage, to build a prison of guilt that you can never escape. The moment you realize that their generosity was never free is the moment you begin to see the bars of your cage.
But there is one more sign, a sign that nobody talks about. And it's the one that will genuinely shock you. The hidden eighth sign? You start defending them. Think about that. The ultimate victory of a manipulator is when their victim becomes their shield. When someone criticizes them, you are the first person to jump in and say, "No, you don't understand them like I do. They're actually a really good person." You minimize their behavior. You make excuses for their cruelty. You rewrite the narrative in your own mind to protect the very person who is destroying you. This is called identification with the aggressor. And it is the final stage of complete psychological capture. The manipulator doesn't even need to defend themselves anymore, because you do it for them. If you've ever found yourself defending someone to the same people who are trying to save you, that is the deepest sign of all. And recognizing it is the first step to freedom.
Manipulation is not always loud. It's not always obvious. The most effective manipulators are the ones you would never suspect, the ones who seem kind, generous, caring. But now you see the patterns. Now you have the language to name what's happening to you. And that changes everything. Because a manipulation technique only works when you don't know it exists. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because the person who needs this video the most probably doesn't even realize they're being controlled right now. Subscribe to the Mind Vault, because understanding dark psychology isn't just about protecting yourself. It's about never being someone's puppet again.